What's up, guys? This is Arhanis with the third video of my PlayStation 3 collection update. If you remember, my collection grew up to 284 games, and on my last video, I covered from the 120 from the 70th game to the 127th game. So now is from my 128th game to my 183rd game. So without further ado, here we go. And the first one here will be the last video the last game that I showed was Gran Turismo 5. The next one is Gran Turismo 6, which I haven't played because I recently started to play Gran Turismo 5 because of the upcoming Gran Turismo movie that for some reason got me a little bit excited. It looks like it's gonna be a fun movie. It gives me a sort of a driven vibes. That movie with no, not Arnold, yeah, Sylvester Stallone, that he's a Formula One driver. That kind of vibes. That movie was stupid fun for some reason. The next one is Grid 2, which I have played only for a little bit. And one thing that I really liked about this game that I'm not sure if it's present on the first one, because for some reason I went straight to the second one. It's the sort of I don't know, like time travel or something like that mechanic that it has. So let's say that you take a hard curve, and for some reason you crash and you lose control. You press a button. I don't remember which button it is, but you go back like 5-10 seconds. I'm not sure how. Think of it as a Prince of Persia sounds of time driving simulator. The game looks great though. The next one is the Guided Fate Paradox. This case I got the PAL version because it was much cheaper than the American version. The game came complete with its instruction manual, and as far as I know, this is the first game or the prequel. It came first before the Awakened Fate Ultimatum, which I showed on my first video update. I think this game takes like 10 years before that one. And something I wasn't aware this game existed. I got the Awakened Fate Ultimatum because it was cheap on Amazon back in the day. It was like $15. So I say, hey, what the hell, JRPG, let's get it. So then I learned that there was this game that it was also related to that one. And sometimes in Awakening Fate Ultimatum, it's mentioned about a conflict from 10 years ago. And as far as I know, I haven't played it, but I think it's talking about this game. Next one is one of the most hated games on the PlayStation 3 and was one of the most overhyped games of the PlayStation 3, which is Haze. This game was the last game developed by Free Radical. If you remember Free Radical, those are the guys that gave us the Time Splitters series, Time Splitters 1 and 2, and then it was acquired by EA. And I think if I remember correctly, Free Radical was formed by ex-Rare developers that worked on GoldenEye. I wanted to get this game. It hasn't been much since I got the game. I wanted to have the game because I wanted to see how bad it was, and surprisingly, I kind of enjoyed it at times. I will give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. It's an average shooter, and I think the idea was okay. They were pumping an idea about a drug called Nectar that improved soldiers' skills, and the only thing is that, and sorry for any spoilers, you're not missing much. The only thing is that when you start the game, you're part of this elite sort of PMC. I don't remember what's their name, and they use Nectar. So I think it's like half an hour into the game, and you go to the other side. So they should have built up this kind of conflict between the main character and his ideas and his addiction to Nectar, instead of going just from the start to go to the other side of the fight. So or maybe they should have also give you like two options if you want to continue being on the soldier side or go to the resistance side and not the resistance follow band side. And I think that would have worked a bit better. The shooting mechanics are not great. They are not that bad. It's serviceable, but sometimes it is not. So it's just average. This is, I think, the second game I got for my PlayStation 3, and at the moment stands as my older PlayStation 3 because my PlayStation 3, when I got it, it was bundled with Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, and a free month of PlayStation Plus. So this is my first purchase, and there you go. Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is it is one of the best stories I've seen. I mean, it's not like the best story, but the best one of the best storytellings at times. I don't know, maybe maybe I'm not saying what I wanted to say, but it is a very good game, and the character development it's pretty good. Pretty I was gonna say pretty cool, so it's pretty good, and this is one of those games where your choices do matter and you have to be very careful what you choose, because if you end up choosing something that will kill one of your characters on that part of the story, the character might die, and that's it. The game has like 11 different endings and I have only seen like three. mm, I think the best ending is one of the ones I got, and the story revolves around a man that has one of his kids killed, and later on the second kid gets kidnapped, and the um the suspect of the kidnapping is a killer by the name of the Origami Killer, which is something that is very unique to this killer, is that on each of his victims, which happen to be kids, he leaves an origami figure, and they also start to give you hints of how they are connecting everything to the Origami Killer. Aside from leaving origamis, I think it also has to be do with uh, water has to be close to the location of the victim, something like that. But it is a very very good game, and at times it feels like a playable graphic novel. It is by Quantic Dream. The guys that gave us the latest game is Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, which I haven't played and I don't have it on my collection. Bit of a spoiler. Another one that I wanted to have, another game that I wanted to have. Sorry guys, English is not my main language, so I try. And that game is Heavenly Sword, which is developed by Ninja Theory, the guys that gave us Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and Senua's Sacrifice on the PlayStation 4, and the sequel to that one upcoming to Xbox. And the game was initially was very criticized about being, again, it is a God of War clone. Come on, the game is a hack and slash. God of War was not the first hack and slash game, so deal with it. Next one is another game that I used to have or play on my PlayStation 3, and I mean on my PSP, and I remember the game not being good, and that is Hellboy. It's the Science of Evil. The thing about this game, and the reason why I wanted to have this game, is because the game is based, or it was actually written by Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, and the game was supposed to come with a limited edition comic, which I don't have, and it has those horrible stickers. But I wanted to have the game. Next up is a game that for some reason I wanted to have it. I noticed that weirdly enough it started to go up in price, so I snagged it before it was too late. and that is high velocity bowling. I don't know why I got it, and as far as I know, the game works better with the PlayStation Move, and it has like 3 games in it. I think it has like a dart game or something. Now that I have my PlayStation Move, I haven't tried the game. Next up is one of my, well, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite trilogies from the PlayStation 2 because I only played 2 of the games, but it's definitely one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games, at least the first of the 3. I've I've heard the third one is the best one, but again, I didn't play it, and that is the Hitman trilogy. Um, I don't know why is they didn't include the first Hitman, which was only available for PC. It would have been great if they included the 3 or at least uh, 1, 2, and contracts, but they decided to go Hitman 2, contracts, and blood or bloody money. And the second one is the one that I love the most. Mm, Again, I haven't played Bloody Money, so, and weirdly enough, actually it's not weird. I actually enjoyed the first movie a lot. I didn't watch the second one. Next up is a game that it disappointed a lot of fans, and that is Hitman Absolution. I really like the game. The only thing that I think it's the thing that I like the least, so to speak, would be maybe the gameplay changes that they made to the game. Because on the other games, you literally had to hide, or you could just go into costume. But here, it has like a little look away mechanic. So if you are in costume and you go next to a guard or something like that, there is a button that you can press where you're when 47 will just look away, and that's it. And that's something that I didn't like that much. This is another game. It's one of those hidden gems on the PlayStation 3, and it is played best with Move, and that is the House of the Dead Overkill Extend Cut. Like it says, more blood, more gore, more strippers. This game is stupidly fun, and it's very, very funny too. Uh, it's like a homage to the ridiculous 80s B movies, B horror movies, and it's great. Here's another controversial game because they say that it's so bad and still got a sequel, and the sequel also did, I think it did worst. I haven't played it, but the premise, not the premise in per se, but the the way they try to be different is something that interested me, but I haven't played it yet, and that is Homefront. The thing about this game that a lot of people didn't like is, oh, it's a game where North Korea, I think like the two Koreas unite and invade the U.S., and that's something that a lot of people didn't like. But come on, I mean, most of the stories are the U.S. going and saving the world in whatever country you think. So it is okay to sometimes be the victims. I mean, I don't know. This is a game that I haven't played. It is a Bethesda game, and that is Hunted the Demon's Forge. And I don't know much about this game, or basically I don't know anything about this game. But I think it's like a Diablo game. I'm not sure. I haven't played it yet. And the game came with a manual. Hey, I thought it didn't have any manual, but cool. There we go. Next up is it. The next one, it's an HD remaster collection that has my favorite game of all time, because I actually have 2 favorite games of all time and are tied on the first place. The first one is Super Castlevania 4, which to me it's perfection. I there's nothing about that game that I don't like, and this one is Echo and Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus being tied with Castlevania 4 as my favorite game of all time. To me, Shadow of the Colossus is also a perfect game. 16 colossi to fight, the way that you need to find their weaknesses, and how to find them actually was pretty fun and original. And a lot of games then started to I mean, they copy some of the mechanics, like Castlevania Lord of Shadows took some of that, which was okay, because you then get to fight giant bosses and had to find a way to go up into to their weak spot or anything. And the music is simply brilliant. And the best thing about the game, when I first played it, it was finding the first Colossus. You get it. You hop into aggro your horse, and you hold up your sword, and there is like a light that you need to focus. So the light from being open, it will start to focus into a specific spot, and that's the spot that you want to follow to get to the next Colossus. So you hop into aggro, you climb a cliff, and as soon as it goes into a cutscene, and there's the stomp of this a big ass monster. And oh man, and the moment that you find the first weak spot and start to climb it, and how the music changes, and then that theme calls it is called the open way starts to play, man, that is simply magical. Yep. Next up is a game that I wanted to try, and when I tried it, I literally didn't change the game until I finished it because I liked it that much, and that is Infamous by Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch are the guys that I think their latest game was is that samurai game? What is it called? That's the problem. I don't have new consoles. I know about new releases, but I don't remember the name of that game. Um, but it's developed by those guys. They also gave us the Sly Cooper on the PlayStation 2. And this is a game that also has that kind of morality system where you can either be regarded as a superhero or as a villain, and the city and the authorities will react to how you act. It is a very good game. It is kind of lengthy. Sometimes it's also a bit challenging. Next up is Injustice: God Among Us Ultimate Edition, which is it was brought to us by the guys that made Mortal Kombat. What are they called? Nether Realms Studios, and this is a fighting game with DC characters, following the Injustice comic. I'm not sure which came first. So, next up is a strange, and it is a very challenging game, which is Inversion. I haven't played the game because I'm stuck at the last boss. This game, it has a little, it has a cool gravity mechanic where from time to time, let's say that you're walking on the floor, and for some reason you go into a place where the gravity is all inverted or all screwed up, and all of a sudden, whoop, you start walking on the walls, on the ceilings. The camera also follows you, so it is pretty cool. Some of the weapons use that mechanic to your advantage. Next up is one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games, at least the first one, and that is Jak and Daxter trilogy. I love the first Jak and Daxter. It's one of my favorite platformer games, adventure games ever. I remember my jaw dropping when I played it on PS2. The graphics were very beautiful. In HD, it looks great even today. And something that I liked a lot is something that you can also find in games like Skyrim. For example, you're standing in, I don't know, anywhere else, in any place you're standing in the distance, you see a snowy mountain. You can go to that mountain eventually, and I like that about this game, the graphics, and it is one of those rare occasions where the Spanish, the European Spanish is very, very funny, and is one of those rare games where I enjoyed that Spanish version more than the English version. There is no Latin American version, but the Spanish actors, especially the one for Dexter, nailed it on the first one. I'm playing the second one, and for some reason, I'm not liking the game that much. It is not bad, but it isn't great. This is a game that I was urging to find. I was looking at it for like crazy, and the game was not cheaper than $50, and that is the Journey Collector's Edition, which includes Flow, which I played first on the PSP, Journey, and Flower. All these games are made by that game company, and I got this game for 200 Mexican pesos, which is about 16, $17. And that was a great deal. Next up is Just Cause 2. A lot of action, a lot of explosions, a lot of ridiculousness, but it's a lot of fun. Next up is one of my favorite shooting games, first-person shooters, which is the Killzone trilogy. One thing that I always hated about the first game, it was not the game itself. I really loved the first Killzone. I know it has its flaws. Every game has a flaw, except Shadow of the Colossus and Super Castlevania 4. But each game has flaws. And one thing that I hated is that how media treated Killzone. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, the game that was regarded to be the Halo killer. I mean, it was not by Guerrilla, but it was by the stupid media that wanted to like hype the game, and the same happened with Haze. The same, but Haze was not that great game. Killzone, it is a great game, the first one. Again, it has its flaws, yes, but mainly a lot of people still with its flaws didn't give it a chance because people were still thinking about Halo. And I mean, if you're gonna play a game, play it for the game that it is, not for the game that the media wants you to think it is or is trying to be. Because I don't remember Guerrilla saying, hey, we're gonna dethrone Halo. Hell no. Stupid media. I only played the first one, and the second one I finished it, loved it, and I haven't played the third one yet. I played a little bit of it, but not yet. Next up is a rare game, and it is a game published by Atlas, and that is The King of Fighters 13. I haven't played it that much, a little bit of the training, but not the game itself. And this is a game that I missed on the PlayStation 2. I missed it, and that is Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix. This game has a Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, which is the first one, Kingdom Hearts Requiem of Dreams. I think that was a DS card game, and Kingdom Hearts 358 Days -2. I don't know. I think, and I think that was the PSP game. I'm not sure. I have only started to play the first one, and I already finished the Alice in Wonderland section. So next up, I think I don't remember which section is the next one, but that's the one. Next up is Kingdom Hearts 2.5, which includes Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Breath by Sleep, I think that's the PSP game, and Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Okay, HD Cinematics, I think. I haven't played it yet. This is a game that I started to play, and it's a very good game. That it is a hidden gem. It is also one of those great games that didn't sell well and that developers went bankrupt, and that is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. It has also been remastered. It's called Re-Reckoning on the PS4, Xbox One. I'm not sure if PS5 and Series X. I know for a fact that those consoles play the previous console games, but it is pretty good game. It is pretty cool. A game that I haven't played yet, and it is not a cheap game right now, and that is LA Noire, the Complete Edition. I know these guys, the director for this game, what's his name? Brendan McNamara or something like that. He is the guy behind the PS2 games The Getaway, which I liked a lot. Next up is The Last of Us. Not much to be said about this game, only that I haven't played it to the end. I just played it for like an hour or two. But it's pretty cool. This is another game that is a rare game, and it is by NIS America, Nipponishi America, and that is The Last Rebellion. I know this is not a good game for reviews, but the best review is the review your own review, so I might like it. Next up is this game needs no introduction. That is LBP, Little Big Planet Game of the Year Collection. I started to play the game. It's so cute, so fun. Next up is the second one. I remember also playing the PSP version. That's how I was introduced to the game. And next up is Little Big Planet Karting. I still haven't got the third game. I will eventually get it. And next up is another rare game that is going up in price, and is one of those games by, I think it's by Suda51, and that is Lollipop Chainsaw. This is a stupid game, stupid fun game about zombies, and you are this a cheerleader. I don't remember her name right now, but I like those kind of not the boobs. I mean the George Romero things like San Romero. The high school is called San Romero. And one thing about this game is that it has a trophy or an achievement regarding depending where you play it, where if you because with the right camera, I mean with the right stick, you control the camera. So if you tilt the camera, if you push the right stick down, the camera. I mean, I play with the flipped XY things. So if you go down with the camera, she like crosses her legs and covers her no parts. And eventually, if you do that often, you'll get a trophy about being naughty. So that was a fun thing. Next up is The Last Dimension by Atlas. It's another JRPG. It's a pretty cool game. I haven't finished it yet, but I want to finish it eventually. It's a pretty cool JRPG. Next up is Lost Planets Extreme Condition. This is a game that caught my eye when it was exclusive to 360, and yet I hadn't purchased a PS3 yet, but I was looking into it, and it reminded me a lot about The Thing for some reason when looking at it, but when playing it, it is a bit different. The game is not a horror game; it's an action game, and the controls are not that great, but the game is kind of fun. The only thing that is kind of weird is that it's mission based, but to the point that it's like each mission is a stage. I mean, a little stage that you start it and then you go to mission finished, cutscene, and you're back in the base, getting ready to your next mission. Next up is a rare game, and it's a Mexican game by Sling, and that is Lucha Libre Héroes del Ring. I'm a big Lucha Libre fan, and since I was a kid, and one of my favorite wrestlers are included here, like La Parca, which is an emblematic. La Parca. Sorry, this is Dr. Wagner, and La Parca. He was. I mean, oh shit! I think this is not Dr. Wagner. I think this is Connect. I don't know. I don't remember that much. I haven't watched it in years, but it is a pretty cool game, and it's Lucha Libre. Come on, guys. Next up is Mafia 2, and the game is pretty cool. I really like the game. The only thing that I didn't like that much is not that open world, which kind of suck, but the game is pretty fun. Next up is Max Payne 3, which I did like a lot. It changes a lot from the previous games, but for some reason, my favorite game is the first one. That's the one that I love the most. I started to play the second one, but I didn't like it. So, sorry. Eventually, I will try it again if the opportunity comes up. But not sure. Next up is a hated game that I actually liked, and that is the Medal of Honor reboot. The game includes Medal of Honor Frontline, which is one of the best World War II shooters there for the PS2, and this is the HD remake that for some reason the first stage does not have any music, and the first stage also, the textures do not load well, and until you go to the second one, then you start to notice the textures are better. And this game is situated in modern day era, and I really liked it. It has its glitches, yes, but I did like it a lot. And next one is Medal of Honor Warfighter, the second game, which concluded the series and the developers went down, and these games were recently closed early this year, the online, so there's no way to play them anymore. Only single player, but I don't mind that much because I'm more of a single player guy. I do play online, as I mentioned earlier, but not all of the games I play online. Next up is one of my favorite series of all time, which is Metal Gear Solid. These are all the games that it has. It has Metal Gear Solid Snake, second one of the best ones. Solid, VR Missions, Solid 2, 3, 4, Peace Walker, and the two graphic novels. One thing that I didn't like is that for some reason, I don't know why Konami always like didn't include Portable Ops in the collections. Portable Ops, I know the game is not directed by Hideo Kojima, but it was produced by Hideo Kojima, and the game is great. And it also it's the introduction of Null that eventually goes into be a Gray Fox, and the game was great. Without Peace Walker, I mean, without Portable Ops, there wouldn't be a Peace Walker. So I think it's a disservice to the game to being forgotten like that. And it is also one of my favorite games, especially by the end, where the enemies join forces with you. Next up is a sad game that didn't get completed, and if you notice, I'm going from alphabetical order. So next up is the Phantom Pain. I was so excited when the game got announced that I went and ordered it on GameStop. But when they told me that, you know what, the one that you ordered is Ground Zeroes, and that's not a game, that's a demo, I was like, come on, I'm not gonna pay full price for that. Which later got a new price. I think it went from being a $59.99 game to being a $29.99 game. But still, I didn't got it. Someday I might get it, but I'm not sure. The game is great though, the Phantom Pain, but that cliffhanger at the end is just sad. One thing that a lot of people hated about this game that I don't find it that bad, and I'm gonna give you a spoiler if you haven't played it, but is the change of Snake's voice. Now, if you remember, David Hayter played Snake since Metal Gear Solid 1, then he voiced Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, and he voiced Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3, and Peace Walker and Portable Ops. And when this game was announced, it was also announced that Kiefer Sutherland will be playing Snake. Now, if you remember, I mentioned Solid Snake and Big Boss are played by David Hayter. And that makes sense because Solid Snake, if you remember, is a clone / son to Big Boss. But in this case, by the end of the game, spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game, just go like a minute later. But in this game, by the end of the game, you are revealed that you are not Big Boss, but you are just Venom Snake that was kind of brainwashed to act like being Big Boss to protect Big Boss. So in this case, you are Venomous Snake, which makes sense to be voiced by a different actor because this character does not have Big Boss's blood. It makes no sense to be having the same voice as Big Boss. So it wasn't that big deal to me. And that character, Venom, it's killed in Metal Gear 1. It's the first boss that you kill, so that's how the guy ends. Next up is a spin-off, which is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and it's by Platinum Games. This is a very, very fun game, very, very action-packed game, and it was very cool. It's a rendition to Raiden, which was a hated character from Metal Gear Solid 2, which then was later better appreciated in Metal Gear Solid 4. Then they gave him this game, and it's a total badass. Next up is a game that I haven't played, which is Metro Last Light. It is a first-person shooter game. It is a scary game, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it. Next up is Mirror's Edge. This is a first-person action adventure game. It has a bit of shooting, but you can just go parkour everything. I haven't played it. I haven't finished the game. I got stuck in a part. Then I lost my saves when my PS3 froze. I lost my saves when I changed my hard drive. So I have to start from scratch. I wanted to have an MLB game, and I remember on my PSP that I spent a lot of hours playing MLB The Show 09. So I found MLB 014 very cheap, and I got it. The only thing about this game, if you notice, it has a blue layer here, which was when the PS4 got released. So this game has a PS4, PS3 release, and that's when they started to make PS3 graphically lackluster PS3 games from the PS4, which is sad. The game does not look bad, but doesn't look great as 13 does. Next up is Mod Nation Racers, which I haven't played, but I wanted to have it. And next up is another rare game that I wanted to have. That started to go up in price, and that is Monopoly. So hopefully the game works. Next up is a game with a horrible box, and that's on my end, which is MotorStorm Pacific Rift. The game is stupid fun, is very, very good racer, frustrating but great. Next up is Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, and thankfully it's not the greatest hits because I hate red boxes and red labels. Next up is a average game that I used to have, but I got it because it's the gold edition, and that is Naughty Bear. Think of this game about GTA with stuffed animals. Next up is Need for Speed Carbon. I remember playing this game on my PSP a lot, and I wanted to have it on PS3, so it's good to have it now. Next up is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Criterion Games. Greatest hits, but I used a clear box because I hate red boxes. I haven't played the game. Next up is Never Dead. It's a rare Konami game. The only thing that I know about this game is that the guy can never die, so I don't know how that works in the game, but... Next up is Nier, a game that I got very, very cheap. I got it for 200 pesos when the game is like 50 bucks. Just the disc, so the game is complete. Next up is one of the best JRPGs on the PS3, which is Ni no Kuni. And I'm close to the final battle, but I need to grind a little bit more because it's turning a bit difficult. And the last game for this video is No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise. I got the game. It doesn't have any... Oh no, it does have a manual, so that's cool. And I played only a little bit about this game, and I liked it. And the first game, I think it was an exclusive to the Wii, so I might never play it because I'm not intending to collect Nintendo's consoles. Sorry, but I'm not much of a Nintendo fan. I grew up with the NES and the Super NES and the Game Boy. I recently got a GBA with a couple games. I got a GameCube because I got a pack with 2 GameCubes, so I gave one and I took the other one. And I recently sent it to a shop because I dropped it and started giving me image. So anyway, I hope you liked my video, and I noticed that my second video has since I put a cover, a nice little cover there, which I did the same for this one because it's already uploaded. I haven't uploaded yet, of course, and I will edit also a cover. And I think that that attracted more attention because even though my first video got like 40 something views, and the first video got like 40 something views, the third one got like 50 something views. I think that made a big difference, and also the tags. So I really appreciate guys watching my videos. I know it's not the best quality because I don't edit my videos. I'm only recording with my cell phone, with my headset. I don't have a video editor. I don't have like a computer to edit. Yes, I don't have computer because honestly, I don't need it. The only computer I have is the computer from work, and it's only limited to work stuff. So still, thank you very much for sticking to the end of my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I just have like 2-3 videos more, 3, yeah. So there's just 2 more game. I call them game towers for some reason. So it's just this one and the last one. I mean, the last one. Oh, here's my GBA. And let's see what game it. Oh yes, I have a brick console there. Which game it has? Let's see. What does it have? What was I playing? Hurry up. Oh, I was playing Mario 3. Alright guys, so thank you very much for watching. Thankfully, here in Tijuana, Hurricane Hillary didn't do much. It rained a lot yesterday, Sunday, and there was a lot of wind, a few blackouts, but nothing too serious because the mountains from the Baja Peninsula basically kind of reduced the hurricane 5 to a tropical storm. So stay safe and take care, guys. Thank you for watching.